I don't think I need a mirrorless camera for this anymore. When it comes to live streaming, I've had my opportunity to try different cameras. And the OBSBOT Tail 2 by far has blown me away. Let's talk about it. So I've had this camera for about 3 weeks now, and I've been using it nonstop since I got it. I've actually, if you've watched the last couple videos, either through shorts on my socials like Instagram or TikTok, or even my last couple of YouTube videos, you'll know, or actually, you wouldn't know, that it was recorded all through this camera. Real quick, let's go ahead and just make sure we get this little disclaimer out the way. This video is not brought to you by anybody. However, OBSBOT did send this camera to me for free in order to review. I get to keep the camera afterwards, but they don't get to review this video. They don't get to see any of my personal opinions or give any input or even control what I say. So you're getting an unbiased, unfiltered review from me who's had it for this, but yeah, I got it for free. Just so you know. Cool? Let's get back to the video. First, what is it? It is a wireless PTZ-R live streaming camera capable of 4K 60 with a battery life of up to 5 hours. Now, there's a lot to cover about this device and actually test out and try. So there's going to be more than one video on this channel dedicated to this camera. Like, we're barely going to scratch the surface. So for today's video, I want to talk about the specs, what it does, who's it good for, and why you would want to consider this camera over something else. So this thing starts at $1199.99, so like $1,200. Now, as a beginning content creator, this is not going to be your first camera, but this is really aimed for professional or semi-professional creators or services that are going to be just going above that day to day. This might be overkill for some people, but it might also be the perfect thing if you have the money. So again, this is $11.99 starting. You could actually buy a couple different accessories through OBSBOT directly. It has a 1 by 1.5 inch sensor, which is just slightly smaller than an APS-C, but still larger than your traditional web camera sensors. And it's actually bigger than the original Tail Air sensor. It has a 12x hybrid zoom, which includes a 5x optical zoom. Yeah, that barrel is just not for looks. It has 4K 60 up down to 1080-120. So this is going to give you high fidelity content, 4K content to your heart's connect. It can connect over SDI, technical term. If you don't know what it is, it's not for you. NDI, HDMI, UVC, and wireless. And wired too, actually, technically. We'll get into that. Battery life can last up to 5 hours, meaning you will be able to capture a lot of events and run throughout the time. You can buy an additional, like our optional base, which gives you another 4 hours, so a total of 9 hours of coverage. I personally haven't had it to test it, but that's good to know. You can get up to 9 hours of full coverage, meaning like an entire day's worth of video. Something inherently different is you actually have the ability to connect this to actual rig controllers. So if you have a PTZ controller, you could connect it directly through RS-232 connections and actually control the pan, tilt, zoom, and rotation of this camera through your controllers. If you don't have that, you can use the typical AI hand gestures. They have everything as far as from zooming in, recording, tracking, all the typical OBSBOT features you would normally get. And there, now automatically zoom into me. Perfect. So because I had that, oh my God, why are you so close? I like this one. If I want to start recording. Now I can start recording without having to touch anything. There. Now it's going to track me wherever I go. I can see her talk. Like, I don't even need a computer, right, to do anything. Now, one of the benefits about this camera, I said PTZ-R. That R is for rotation. It has a rotating barrel. The camera actually, in that barrel, will rotate a degree depending on how you're balanced. You could actually control that rotation and give yourself a more balanced approach or angular approach when you're recording video. And combining all these features, it has amazing vibration reduction. Now, typically, when you have a long zooming camera and you bump it just slightly, you're going to see major jitters, or if the wind's blowing, things like that, you'll notice it, right? This camera, you could zoom in and it looks crystal clear. It looks just tack sharp still. No vibrations that you really can notice. Another tech feature I forgot to talk about is the audio in. The camera itself does not have built-in mics. It looks like it does. Trust me, I thought it did. It doesn't. You have to use either a mic in or a line in, which is cool because if you're saying, like I said, if you're doing like video, or not video, if you're doing like music venues, you can actually take your soundboard and plug it directly via line in and record audio through that way, as well as you could go ahead and record it through a high quality mic. So like myself, I would use my Rode wireless mic, or I use one of my Rode shotgun mics to record my subject. So let's talk about the multiple connection support. So I mentioned you have the ability to connect it via, UVC through USB-C. You could control it over Wi-Fi. You could run it through NDI. You also get Ethernet connections with PoE, meaning power over Ethernet. Yeah, you can power and control this through an Ethernet direct connection on the back of the camera. Yes, that means you can send a 4K 30 signal over your Ethernet as well as through the UVC connection. I said this camera is not for beginners, but a beginner could use it. But this is production level quality of tech you're getting for this price range. Now, if I try to spec out or price out any other competing camera, you're looking at $1,500 plus just to get half the features that you're getting in this OBSBOT camera. Plus, you're getting the renowned AI features that OBSBOT has brought on since the original Tail Air, and all of its other cameras like the Tiny 2, like the Meet SE, and so much more. Like, that talks about just how good the AI noise cancellation is. And you can actually have that noise suppression controlled through the camera. And you can use an app, you can use a remote, whatever works better for you. So there's a person flying a drone. The church around here is playing music. Lots of wind. How does that sound? Do you hear just me? So let's talk about Wi-Fi, because you can connect to this over Wi-Fi. It has Wi-Fi 6 built in, which means a couple of different things. One, connecting to your phone and through the app and live streaming is so much easier, so much faster. Like, I am 100% impressed. You could transfer files quickly and instantly upload those as you need. So like, I've been recording shorts with this camera and I can record like a 5-minute 4K 30 footage and Wi-Fi transfer it to my phone in like less than like a couple minutes, which is bonkers compared to even before you gotta sit there and wait, you gotta let the app stay open and all that stuff. Like, I don't have to sit there for like days on end waiting for the transfer or trying to pop out an SD card, which I guess makes more sense, but you can record the SD, so that's another good feature. Quality wise, it is a 50 megapixel sensor, so you do get crisp images throughout that entire zoom. You get really good noise reduction, or not noise reduction, but you really get good quality of footage where you don't have to worry about noise being introduced in your film or into your video footage whatsoever. There's actually 2 base ISOs that the camera will try to determine based on your setting in your environment. So you could go up to maybe 1600 ISO or up to 6400 ISO depending on your situation. It has a rotating lens built inside, meaning you don't have to sit here and fumble with moving a camera to record vertical content. You don't have to find like an L mount or anything like that to transfer it over. It will just do it in the body automatically. So you could use the app and just hit a button on the app and it'll automatically keep where your camera is and switch into vertical streaming or vertical mode. So short form content, vertical live streaming, you're 100% covered with this. See how it flips the actual barrel itself? And so now you can see here automatic switches to vertical content. With a push of this button right here, it'll flip it and then that will actually twist. Let's talk about the AI features. You actually get a couple different AI tracking features that include group AI, single subject AI, multiple object AI. It has like 200 listed items built in. And you get a cool feature called me tracking. So it will not lose you as the focus of the video. And if there's other people that come in, it knows, hey, select this person, stay with this person, lock onto that person the entire time. Or you want to track a player, you could use this. I'm too fat for this. So who is this camera really for? You have content creators, live streamers, right? That's your typical base you would expect for this camera. I would say if you're a content creator who's been doing this for a while, or you're actually making a decent amount of money that you can afford to upgrade to a camera like this or bring this into your setup, 100% hands down, you will not regret it, right? If you are like in a ministry or a church, or providing some kind of services in like a speaking manner, like maybe even like events, engagements, or even ceremonies, hands down, you could throw one or two of these in your setup and have them as permanent fixtures in your, venue, and they'll be perfect. I can see this for bands, like band or music venues, right, that want to be able to live stream that content maybe throughout different TVs in their facility, or even record it for later consumption. Perfect. So I could easily see this for like someone who's trying to do a hybrid like photography for weddings, but also wants to get some video coverage. Like, yeah, I could walk around with my Z6 III and record video, right? But if I want to capture just like the full ceremony and stuff while I'm shooting, I can easily set one or two of these up and actually have them just live record, or even stream if that's what the couple wants, and have them stationed or preset with different locations. So that way I could focus on shooting, but I'm also recording that ceremony as well. I could easily see even like sports at venues and even like teams using this to record gameplay, right? And be able to use it with a controller and stuff, and just have multiple wireless ones set up throughout your field and just recording your gameplay. Educators, I can easily see education using this. And again, this kind of goes back to like ministries or churches, or even like speaking engagements. Those types of scenarios, we're going to have one or multiple presenters presenting things, and you want to be able to track them. There are additional ways you could use this, such as like for like news broadcasts, or even connecting it directly into your like an Unreal Engine. I believe OBS has a plugin that could work with Unreal Engine for bringing on like not screen cap, but green screen and virtual environments. So that's something that's beyond my production level, but that's definitely a cool feature to know about. The one thing I would also say, and I think this is going to be a whole video in itself, is podcasters, video podcasters, because the cool thing about OBSBOT, and when they build these cameras like the original Tail Air and now with the Tail 2, you could program multiple different positions with these cameras to actually have automatic zoom ins, subject isolating, and things of that nature. So you could really go full on production with one or two of these cameras and record a high quality video podcast as well as the audio. And I think that's like going to be the game changer. And that's going to be one of my things I work on from one of my videos. Like I said, I got like 2 or 3 videos lined up for this. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see that. And if you have questions about it, drop them in the comments. That way I can try to answer them in that video. So what do you think so far that you're hearing these specs and you're seeing some of the sample stuff that I got? Is this the camera for you? Like I said, I got more testing videos coming up. So if you want something answered that I didn't answer about it in this video, leave it in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, because they will be mentioned or answered in the next future videos. But until then, I have a lot more testing to do with this camera. I'm Joe. This has been Matsu, and as always, let's just shut up and go shoot. See ya.